Now let's talk about making a gallery. Let's delete everything here. Everything here. I need an image. So, okay, I got one image here. So I'm gonna add an image source here. Alt, that image. Now it's too big, so I want to give maybe width 100, height 1. Let it be changed automatically. Oh, that's a little bit bigger. There you go. I have a picture of a dog. So I posted in the Zoom chat the link I used, but you can find anywhere. Go on your search engine, find a picture, copy the URL from the address bar after you view the picture. Anyway, so I want to add a button here. Element button, type button. And I want to say next image. And let me add a div so it goes to a new line, even though it's there because it's too, I want to make it in a new line. So just put a div there like that. Let me remove the CSS. I don't need that. There you go. Now we have an image, we have a button. So we need to implement, when I click the button, I want to change this image. Okay. I want to change it to this other image I'll show you right now. I pasted in the Zoom chat. How can we do that? Well, we learned how to listen to click events right before. What we do, okay, we need to find the element we want to listen for the click. In this case, the button. I can add onClick attribute. And I can say here, the name of the function we want to call execute when we click the button. Okay. Let me say change image. And then we need open and close parentheses. Don't forget, because we're calling the function. Now we need to define the function in JavaScript, the function keyword space, name of the function, change image, parentheses, curly braces, and type the instructions between the open and closing curly brace. I like to add indentation, which is the 2 spaces to the left, just for style. You don't have to. But it looks nice, so I can see that all these statements are enclosed within this function body. When I say function body, I mean the things between the open and closing curly brace. Now, nice. How can we change this image to something else? Well, the attribute that controls the image is source, right? If we change source to something else here, like I go here and copy and paste, that changes it, right? But how can we do that in JavaScript? Well, first we have to select this image. Now, I taught you how to target or find this element by ID. Somebody asked for querySelector. QuerySelector is another way of finding an element. So let me teach you how to do querySelector. We're going to say document. Now I can say dot. Okay, what do you want out of the document? Well, I can say get element by ID. That's one way. Or I can do querySelector. QuerySelector is a very convenient way of getting things. I wasn't going to talk about it, but since you asked about it, I'm talking. So it's always the same way. Call it with parentheses, and it needs the argument. It needs to know, okay, what do you want to select? Now in this case, let's make it simple. I only have one image in this page. In the real world, it'd be many images, so we wouldn't really do that, what I'm doing right now. But I'm just going to select by the name of the element. Okay? And if you click run, nothing's going to happen because this is grabbing that element here. Now, querySelector is only used to grab one thing. There's another one called querySelector all that grabs many things and kind of returns an array-like thing. Array, right? We just learned multiple things in one thing. So querySelector for one thing. Now, once we got that, okay, I got the source, right? So I think we could just say, actually, let me teach you how you can figure it out. I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say console. Actually, can I teach you DevTools debugging? That might be hard. Let me do console, log this, and show you something. Let me see if I have the console here. One moment. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if that's way too many things. Okay, let me try. See if it works in the, no, it doesn't work there, only there. It's hard for me to do the thing I wanted to do because it's within this environment here. And anyway, I just wanted to show you that this is pointing to the element and a way to find out what attribute I would change. Let me search for an image of a dog here. So we have this dog, right? Let me open new image in a new tab. What I'm going to do is open the dev tools. I can inspect this. I can right click and let me see if it has something to do the variable. Yeah, let's use the query selector, document.querySelector image. So you can see when I say document.querySelector by the element name, it returns the image here. So this image, we can go here. I press the up arrow in my keyboard and I can see dot. And there are many things that suggests out of this value that was returned. And I can look up for things that are of interest. So I can confirm if I scroll all the way up, these are all the properties and operations or functions we can do on this element. And I can confirm that, where is that? SRC, you see SRC? That's indeed here. So I can click that and write that down. And I can assign a new value. Obviously, I put ABC there, which doesn't mean anything. But let me put that other value that I pasted. There you go. Now that's a valid URL. So let me try to summarize here because maybe I might have gone too fast. We use document.querySelector. We can query by the element name, as you can say img, and it will find the first img element on the document. And to that, we saw that we can find out what properties this thing has. And one of them is src, which is the same thing as the attribute for the element that we wrote in HTML. So if I want to change that, I can just do equal sign. Right-hand side is the new value. In this case, I changed the image source to be that of the cat. So this is precisely what we're going to do in our code. Does anybody have any questions so far? What was that okay, Javier? About query selector? You asked about it? All right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our code. And I don't need this console log anymore because I showed you with the dev tools. So we're going to say, I want to change the source. Remember what we're doing here. We want to click next image, the button. So we want to change this image to the image of the cat. So I can say dot source. In this case, is going to be that URL of the cat, but I have to have what? Quotes around it, either single or double, doesn't matter in this case. And I always add semicolon just out of habit, but you don't need to. And when I click next image, it changes to the cat. Right? Remember, you could be Facebook, Instagram, whatever, or a news website. You often see these galleries, right? You click and another image appears, and click, another image appears. It's the same mechanism. We're just manipulating the source attribute of the image and change that to a new value. So the button has an onClick attribute that when we click, it calls the function change image that we wrote in JavaScript. So it goes here, okay, starts from the top. Okay, get element, not by ID, but I'm using query selector. We're gonna find, okay, go through all the whole document. The first element that's image, I want that to be returned. I got a reference to that. Okay, I'm gonna change the source attribute to the new URL. Javier asks, dot class is a class, correct? That depends on the context. If it's writing CSS, when you start dot, that's a class. And also the query selector, you can actually write the same selector for CSS here. So if image, you had a class, say the image, you could actually do in the query selector dot, meaning find the element that has the class called the image. That's the same thing. If I click run, and I click, so it works the same way to select the element, right? An element can be found through many different means. You can find it by its name. You can find it by a class that it has, or an ID, or maybe an attribute, and so on.